This is your Chapter 4 review for the semester final. Example number 1, rewrite this equation in slope-intercept form. Recall slope-intercept form looks like this. You need to know that. And then why doesn't this look like that? This is in standard form. Slope-intercept form has y all by itself. So we need to isolate the variable y. We need to get y by itself. So we need to undo using the skills that we've done in the past in Chapter 3. So I like to ask myself, what side is y on? It's on the left. What's being done to it? It's being multiplied by 9. And to the y, we are also adding 5x. So we need to undo addition first. So we undo adding 5x by subtracting 5x. That was supposed to be an arrow. We undo adding 5x by subtracting 5x. So on the left, we're left with 9y. On the right, I cannot combine 18 minus 5x. I can't put them together. It's not 13. It's not negative 13. It's not 13x. Need to keep them separated. They're not like terms. Now I'm going to put the x term first. It's a negative 5x. And then my plain old number after that is a positive 18. You could write it the other way, but in slope-intercept form, x is our first after the equal sign, and then our constant or plain old numbers second. Last step, undo multiplying by 9 by dividing by 9. We want to leave the y there, but just get rid of or undo the 9. Now once you do one side, I have to do the other side. So if I'm dividing the left side into ninths, I have to divide the right side into ninths or by 9. That means the slope gets divided by 9 and the y-intercept gets divided by 9. So my final equation is y equals, hooray, it's going to be in slope-intercept form, negative 5 divided by 9 times x. So I slid the x off to the side. I could put it back up on top with a negative 5. Both are correct and true. Plus 18 divided by 9 is 2. Bada bing, bada boom. Example number 2. Which points are solutions to this equation? So a solution is a set of variables that makes the equation true. So x is negative 1 and y is 3. So in this equation up here, I need to substitute the values in for the variables. So for option A, I'm going to take 4 times negative 1 and subtract 3 and see if it equals 1. Well, I get negative 4 minus 3. That's negative 7. That does not equal 1. So no, that is not a solution. Let's try this point. So 1 is my x, 3 is my y. So 4 times x, or in this case 4 times 1, minus my y, which is 3. Does that equal 1? Yeah, I'm getting 4 minus 3. That equals 1. So yes, this is a solution. Last but not least, x is 1. So 4 times 1 minus 0, does that equal 1? No, I'm going to get 4. That does not equal 1. Solutions make equations or inequalities true. Slope is represented by the letter M, which is, if I know the coordinate pairs, let's skip that. If I have a picture, slope is rise divided by run. If I have coordinates or coordinate pairs, I subtract the y's. But on the bottom, I subtract the x's in the same order that I subtracted the y's on top. So you could put like, hey, I'm going to take the second y minus the first y. I'm going to take the second x minus the first x. But you could be a rebel and switch the 1s and the 2s. You could take the first y minus the second y, but then you have to take the first x minus the second x on the bottom. Just got to use the same order. So I'm going to actually be the rebel, and I'm going to take the first y minus the second y. So I'm going to do 9 minus negative 3. On the bottom, I'm going to do negative 6 minus 4. See how I subtracted it in the same order? On top, I like to chop. Instead of subtracting negative 3, I like to add a positive 3. Check it out in your calculator. Either way, whichever way you do it, in red or by chop, and you get a positive 12. On the bottom, negative 6 minus 4 is the same as negative 6 plus a negative 4. Moral of the story is it's a negative 10. Now that's a good correct answer, but we need to simplify this. In fact, like on your multiple choice final, you're not going to see 12 divided by negative 10 as an answer. So we need to do a good job simplifying this. So first of all, if you have two negatives, if you had a negative 12 divided by a negative 10, which you do not, if you did, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So we just get rid of the negatives basically. If you have a negative out in front or on the bottom, it means the same as being on the top. Your options will not have negative signs on the bottom. In this case, this negative sign moves up to the top. So I have a negative, and then try to simplify. What number goes into 10 and 12 besides 1? 2 does. So divide the top and the bottom by 2. So this is the same as negative 6/5. Final answer. Now that negative sign can either be out in front or on top. And it's up to the answer key or the options to put it there. So out in front is the same as on top. Means the same thing. Alrighty. Quadrants. Let's do a quick quadrant review. This is quadrant 1. That's Roman numeral for 1. This is quadrant number 2, quadrant number 3, quadrant number 4. If you got to memorize some Roman numerals, do it. This is your x-axis. This is your y-axis. So negative 6, so these are negative x's, these are positive x's, positive y's, negative y's. If I need the location negative 6 for my x and my y is positive 4, it means from the origin I have to go left 6 and up 4. So that's A. So that puts me in quadrant number 2. 3, 7. From the origin, my x is 3, so I go to the right 3. And my y value is positive 7, so I go right 3 for the x and then up 7 for the y. So that's B. So this point is in the first quadrant. Next one, negative 2 is my x, so from the origin I go left 2, and then my y is negative 6, so I have to drop down to get into the negative y land. So this is in quadrant 3. Last but not least, I'll use, that's point C. I'll use green again. This is my x, and it's positive, so I'm going to go to the right. And then my y is negative, so I'll go right 5 and then down 4. So this is D. I think I'll probably just close down the video now and make a second one for that. Yeah, I'm going to stop this. There's a second video for chapter 4.